Hello. I think my network is being unethical this morning. So sorry, but I'm back. Please, if you can hear me, please, can I get some responses from the chat room? If you can hear me, can I get some responses from the chat room? If you can hear me, please, can I get some responses from the chat room? Uh, okay, thank you so much. My attention was just caught right now that during work periods, um, Zoom is majorly congested as there are so many meetings and all of that in the going on right now. So please bear with us also as we bear with all stakeholders involved. I'm so sorry. Okay, quickly, let me answer the two questions that was thrown to the floor, then we can proceed. The first question is to further explain terms of reference. The key word there is, or the key phrase there is terms of reference, where you can always refer to. Where you can always refer to. Terms of reference is actually gotten after the feasibility study had been conducted and you have the actual needs of the customers or the clients being stated. When we have a business case, the business case tells us the general reason why we need to go into this business or go into this project. After we might have finished or conducted the feasibility study, the feasibility now tells us the actual way the customers want to go about this product. It will tell us what they really need, how they want it, when they need it, and perhaps how much they are trying to or they are willing to pay for it. All of those things will form the terms of reference for introducing that project. Okay, Mr. Joaquin, I don't know whether what I said, are you still here? Sorry, Mr. Chukwa Gozim, please, what I said, did you get that? Your line is open, sir. Please, I will need your voice. Did you get what I just said? Chukwa Gozim, are you still there?
Sorry, your voice. Yes, your voice kept breaking while you were trying to explain more in terms of reference, so I couldn't get everything clearly.
Okay, so let me keep both your voice and my voice open now. So if you're not hearing me, just call my attention immediately.
Okay, sir.
All right. So I said terms of referencing or terms of reference. The key word there is terms of reference, or the key phrase there is terms of reference. And the terms of reference tells us the output of the feasibility study. Now, what the output of the feasibility study has done is that it has further refined the business case, the value proposition, the thing we actually thought customers will buy or need or want. That was what we developed. We developed business case without conducting the clients, right? Because we'll find out, oh, this is a problem, this is a need, and people should be interested in solving this problem. Now, after we might have conducted the feasibility study, we've gone to customers and told them, see this problem, this is how we want to solve it. They will further tell you whether the way you want to solve it is actually what they want or not. And after you might have further interactions with them through all the means available to you, whether through survey, online or offline, interactions, meetings, workshops, and all of that, you will come to a point of terms of reference, which will guide the nature of that project. And that terms of reference will tell you what customers really want in that project or in the proposed product you want to launch at the end of the day of the project. They will tell you when they need it. They will tell you how they need it. They will tell you how much they are willing to buy. All of these things will now guide you on how much you're willing to invest. Let's say the product, they are willing to pay 500 naira for the proposed project product. You shouldn't be investing 1,000 naira in cost of production. Okay, and the terms of reference at the end of the day should be able to tell you, should you go in or should you come out? All right. Will customers at the end of the day have to change their mind or what have you? All right. Okay, so now that both of our mics are open, did you hear me clearly?
Yes, I heard you clearly, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Then the next question there was from Ofori. Ofori. He said, can we use the social media for the survey? Should we count that as part of project? The social media can be a very wonderful place to do survey. All right, but before you start using social media for your survey, you should be able to identify that the people you have in your network have the capacity to give you the right information. All right. You should be able to ascertain that the people you have in your network can give you the right information as regarding to the project you want to go ahead. Most often, I will recommend for professional networks where you can actually go and do your survey. Maybe there are professional networks you belong to on Facebook or LinkedIn or any other one that you know that is actually what they are specified in. You can go there and launch your questions or launch your survey, and then you can go ahead and have information. You can also use emails to be sure that you're sending to the right people who will help you with the right survey. All right. All right. Thank you so much. All right. I have one more hand up. Kingsley, Mr. Kingsley Matthew, please, you can go ahead and unmute. Let's hear from you.
Good morning, sir.
Welcome, sir.
Developing a business case.
Yes,
A
please.
business, I was made to understand, you either be into a product or service. So in this aspect, what from your explanation and what I've understood, talk about in respect of product. Can you throw light about business in respect of service?
Thank you so much. Please, the model applies for both service and products. Okay, the model, I only use a product as a case study. Okay, and let me use another case study in case for those of us in the service industry. Some of us move from one bank to another. Why do you actually move from one bank to another? It's obviously when your needs are no longer being met, or when you feel this service is no longer serving me as I initially wanted. So those of us in the banking industry, being a service sector, why or what are you really coming up? What really differentiates you from other businesses? That will form your business case. Or what differentiates you from other banks? That will form your business case. In the consulting industry too, we have business cases, all right? And let me give you another example of a business case in the service industry. We have people like what do they call them? Telecommunication. All right. When there was challenge of getting some kind of customers for the telecommunication industry, when competition was actually very high, although competition is still high, MTN launched a product that they called Midnight Call. In fact, that Midnight Call was one of the reasons that most of us have MTN network today. That midnight call, some of us will stay from 12 a.m. to 5 a.m. Sorry, to 4:59 a.m. Then it will hook. Okay, but they used that kind of model to actually find out these people we want to serve. Do they really need this? It was a form of survey, and at the same time, it was a form of acquisition process. All right. So by the end of the day, they came up with defining other products that they really wanted these people, who they gave free products to buy. And today, I'm not sure MTN is using that midnight call as a marketing strategy again, because it has outlived its patterns. All right. So the model on ground does not define service or product only. It's inclusive of both. All right. Sorry, who asked that question? Mr. Kingsley. Mr. Kingsley, did you get my description, Mr. Kingsley Matthew?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Well understood.
All right. Thank you so much. Okay. So if there is no further question, let's go to the next phase. Each of these process groups we are looking at is for us to understand what each of them are and then know how to apply them. Okay, so quickly, let's see how the definitions go. Business case. A business case represents an optimum mix of information used to judge whether the project is and remains desirable and achievable, and therefore worthwhile investing in, right? So you need that kind of information. How do you develop a business case? A detailed definition of the problem or the opportunity first must be identified. Then we'll have an analysis of the potential solution options available. Remember, I said that as soon as we identify business problems or generally opportunities, projects are actually carried out to provide solutions to those identified problems. So in developing a business case, one of the things we do is to analyze the potential solution options available. Okay, so by analyzing the potential solutions available, you would have created some kind of SWOT analysis. What are other people doing about this problem? And what else do you want to do extra that will draw attention to you? Someone said the most expensive resource in business is attention. Anyone that can buy as many attention as possible towards his business, he will gain as many sales as possible. All right. So everything we do about advertising, marketing, developing value propositions, and all of that, all of them are targeted towards drawing attention. All right. So all of those things we do is all targeted towards drawing attention. So the business case helps us to analyze all other options available. All right. And then we now creatively and innovatively find out which innovations we are bringing in to make the difference. Then for each option, what are the potential benefits, costs, risks, and issues? All of them are documented. Then a preferred solution is selected and agreed on. Then we move on. The business case is approved by the project sponsor, and the required funding is allocated to proceed with the project. What are the key philosophies to forming a business case? It must drive the project. The business case must drive the project. It must be strong enough to drive the project. If there is no satisfactory business case, there will be no project. It must be maintained throughout the project. The business case must be maintained throughout the project. Should justification of business need disappear during the project, stop the project. Should the business case, the reason why you started the project, the value you want to bring in to the client, should it disappear as the project is going on, please, you can go ahead and stop the project and remodify the project to suit another need, right? Now, what about feasibility study? The purpose of feasibility study is to assess the likelihood that a particular solution option will achieve the benefits outlined in the business case, to investigate whether the forecasted costs are achievable, risks are acceptable, and or any likely issues are avoidable. These are the things we check out for in the business case. Note, after the solution has been agreed, funding allocated, and the feasibility study performed, a project is formed. What will be the terms of reference? The terms of reference will be the vision, the objective, the scope of work, the deliverable, the organizational structure, and all of that will be formed. And the business case also forms part of, in some texts also, what we are referring to terms of reference here is also what is referred to as charter, project charter. All right, project charter. And we'll look at project charter as we continue. Then the next one is appointing the project team. Once the terms of reference has been produced, the project manager is appointed. He or she documents a detailed job description for each project role and appoints a human resource to each role based on his or her relevant skills and experience. Then what is about setting up an office? Your project office could be physical and it could be virtual environment within which the project team will be based. In this present era, we are having almost 80% of project teams being in the virtual environment. So we have things like Zoom, we have collaborative software tools like Jira, we have the Agile tools, and we have Bitrix24, we have the projectmanager.com, and all of them, they are all there to create virtual experiences that drive project collaborations and enhance project performance and communication, right? And then we have a successful project office environment consists of location, communities, documentation. Then we have tools. The location could be physical or virtual. The communication tools could be things like computers, internet, radio, email, telephone, papers, pens, and all of that. They have documentations in forms, in kinds of forms, registers, template, methodology, processes. Then you have tools also like computers, machines, equipment, satellite, software for accounting, modeling, planning, and others. Then what then is perform phase review? The phase review is to ensure that what was stated from the opportunity up to the point of setting up the office is actually what we have. All right. So at the end of the day, between project initiation to project planning, we should have had a major deliverable called terms of reference or project charter to move us to the planning phase. All right. Okay, quickly. The end of the initiation phase, of review is performed to check or ensure that this project stage or phase has achieved its objective successfully. And the major objective in initiation is to have a terms of reference or a project charter. Now, the next process group is what we call the project planning. What happens in project planning? Let's look at it critically again and be sure that we understand them. All right, please, if you didn't draw the first diagram, please ensure to draw the other diagrams as we go, all right? But I perceive you should have drawn the first diagram. All right, project planning, a detailed planning to ensure that the activities in the execution phase of the project are properly sequenced, resourced, executed, and controlled. It is a means of defining and refining objectives and selecting the best of the alternative courses of action to attain the objectives that the project was undertaken to address. Note, brainstorming is a very important tool for effective project planning, all right? Now, what are the steps and what are the sequence in project planning? What are the steps and what are the sequence in project planning? Now, the project charter happens to be an output from the project initiation sequencing, all right? Then in this project planning, the project charter is going to be an input for project planning, because the project planning is what we will use to find out what the vision, what the objective, what the job description, job objectives, business structure, and all of them, the kind of stakeholder relationship that exists. We're going to find all of that in the project charter. The kind of project allocation, all right, the volume of allocation, we are going to find that in the project charter. Then we go on with project planning, or what we refer to as the project sequencing. Okay, so the first thing you do here is to create a project plan. And then from project plan, you have the resource plan, you have the financial plan, you have the quality plan, you have the risk plan, you have the acceptance plan, communication plan, procurement plan. Then you have how to manage contractor or contract suppliers, your suppliers, and other relationships you have with those working around you on a contractual basis, how to manage them. So contracts, suppliers, relationship management plan. Then you perform a phase review. Now, the project plan is going to, let me use this to explain. The project plan is going to identify, create, and agree on a work breakdown structure, or what we refer to as WBS. A work breakdown structure is just the network of activities, the network of tasks that need to be done within a project phase. The network of activities that need to be done within a project phase and from phase to phase so as to complete the project successfully. So we have a network, we have a work breakdown structure that when we compile all of them together, it gives us what we call the scope baseline, or what we call the WBS dictionary. All right. So the project plan contains all the activities, all the work that need to be done. It is a hierarchical set of phases, sequenced activity, and tasks to be undertaken on the project. The WBS is accomplished by defining the scope of the project and breaking the project down into components that can be scheduled and estimated and easily monitored and controlled, right? Very important. Allocate resources to each activity and task and assemble detailed project schedule. Now, what about the resource plan? What do we have in the resource plan? The resource plan involves a detailed resource allocation and assessment to identify. It involves a detailed resource allocation to all the tasks that were scheduled in the work breakdown structure, and assessment to identify the types of resources to assign to each of the tasks, the quantity to assign to each of the tasks, and the roles, responsibilities, and skill set for all the human resources. Okay. Then it also involved the items, the purposes, and specification of equipment resources for each of the tasks as well, and also items, purposes, and specification of materials for each of the tasks involved in the project plan. Note, there are committed and proposed resources. What is a committed resource and what is a proposed resource? A committed resource, just as the name goes, is a resource that has been assigned to a task. A resource that has been assigned to a work, that is a committed resource. A proposed resource is a resource that has not been assigned, but it will be assigned for a particular work. Let's take, for instance, you are working on a new product development. Let's say you're working on product development X for your company, and then the product development will involve an architect, and then will involve a civil engineer, and then will involve a surveyor. All right, so let's take these three people. So I have surveyor, architect, and civil engineer. Surveyor, architect, and civil engineer. All these are resources that will be needed in that project X that you want to carry out, or the new project you want to develop. Now, the surveyor will be the first person to be committed to the project. After the survey, other ones remain proposed. You don't pay them for not doing any work, right? Then after the surveyor, possibly the architect will come in. The architect was once proposed, but now he's committed. He's now doing something, perhaps the designing of the whole project you want to go into. Now, after the architect would have designed, the next person that comes in, who was also proposed, is now the civil engineer who comes on to execute the design that the architect raised. All right. So you could have proposed work or proposed resources which are not yet assigned any duty. Their work is proposed. So when their work comes up, they'll be committed. So committed is for people whose work are already ongoing and they are doing the work. And proposed are people who have a bunch of work to be done, but the work has not been initiated or they've not been assigned to such works. And knowing the difference or understanding the concept of committed and non-committed resources, or committed and proposed resources, will help you to reduce costs, okay? So that you don't keep spending on resources that are not committed at the moment. All right, then you have to develop the financial plan. It involves identifying the quantity of money required for each stage of the project, which we refer to as the cost estimation. Then it also has to deal with quantifying the total cost of labor, which is the human resource, and also equipment and material, which is the cost budgeting, all in all, cost budgeting. Then you have assembling an expense schedule, which is an outline of forecast spending versus actual spending, all right? So all of these are going to form your actual budget or actual proposed budget for the project. Then you have the quality plan. How do you go about the quality plan? Defines what quality means in terms of the project. So if you go back to what the first thing we do about project, we said scope, time, and budget. Then at the center is quality, all right? So with that also, you can define what quality is to the stakeholder, okay? What quality is to the stakeholder, because what he calls quality will determine the kind of scope we'll be developing, the kind of schedule we'll be developing, and the kind of financial investment that will be involved. All right, then the second one is lists clear and unambiguous quality target for each deliverable, then outline a plan of activities which will assure that the customer, that the quality targets will be met. So that is what we call the quality assurance plan. All the activities to ensure or to assure the customer that everything that have been initiated as quality parameters, as quality expectations will be met. Then you have identifies the techniques used to control the actual level of quality of each deliverable as it is built. That is quality, the quality control plan. All right. So we have the quality plan, we have the quality assurance plan, we have the quality control plan, and all of them are inside the quality plan. Then you have the risk plan, developing the risk plan. Every project is inclusive of risks. We'll have the high, moderate, and low risks. We'll have the negative risks, and we'll have the positive risks. All right. The assignment of a project manager is to identify all positive and negative risks, and then put mitigative measures against the negative risk, and then put advancement measures for the positive risks. The positive risk will give us much more benefits. The negative risk will give us much more disadvantages. And like I will always advise, as a project manager, when you have projects that are overwhelming, it's important you get a safety manager or a quality risk assessor to help you with quality assessment of your projects, right? And when you begin to have multiple projects, there is no need of only you trying to fix all the risk plan together or all together by yourself. It's important to begin to draw the attentions of safety professionals or lead quality assessors and safety assessment professionals to help you with your risk plan. So what does risk plan do? It outlines foreseeable project risk, outlines set of actions to be taken, formulated to both prevent each risk from occurring and reduce the impact of the risk should it happen. So it has to do with risk identification, risk response planning, risk monitoring, and risk control. All right, then you have the acceptance plan. It provides and outlines the criteria for obtaining customer acceptance and assembles a project schedule assembles a schedule of acceptance reviews within which customers' acceptance will be sought. Remember, we have validation. Under scope management, we have validation and we have verification. It is only when the project stakeholder verifies and accepts the project that we can say the project is completed. A project can be validated and yet not accepted, all right? Using an acceptance form to review the deliverables produced and the level of customer satisfaction. And that is what we refer to as the bottom line. And in the bottom line, each deliverable must meet or exceed customers' requirements. So all of the things that we're talking about in initiation, gathering data, establishing terms of reference, the customer's requirement should either be met or exceeded. All right. Now, I want to say something here, and it is a very tricky principle in project management. We call it gold plating. Gold plating. In some other texts, they call it sugar coating. Sugar coating is knowing fully well what your OPA can deliver, and you go ahead and say what your OPA cannot deliver in order to win the customer. That is called gold plating. And in project management, it is a bad project management practice. I'll repeat that again. Gold plating is you knowing the capacity of your organizational process assets and the level to which you can deliver. You went on to tell a client what you can deliver that you cannot deliver. Not that you cannot deliver, but you don't have the capacity at the moment to deliver that. At that point, we call that gold plating. The disadvantage of gold plating is that at the end of the day, project scopes may not be achieved, and there will be clashes between project management team and the project stakeholder. So it's important that before you go on for project proposals or bids and tendering, you should have done the necessary OPA updates and assessments to ensure that your organization has the capacity to deliver to such project. And remember, you must not be the only one conducting the project. You can partner with other organizations that have the capacity to do the project with you, so that the OPAs both of you have, or maybe depending on the number of partners, the OPAs that the partners have can drive the project, right? So that is very, very important. Sugarcoating or gold plating is not an encouraged practice in project management. I need us to understand that. Then the next one there is creating communications plan. In the communications plan, we have here the identify how each of the stakeholders should be informed, identify the types of information to be distributed, identify the methods of distributing information to stakeholders. And all of these things are involved in the creating communications plan. They identify the frequency of distribution and the responsibilities of each person in the project team for distributing information regularly to stakeholders. There should be a communication manager or communication officer in charge of information assemblage and information distribution and information monitoring and reporting. That is very, very important. His assignment is to collect information from where information is generated, then assemble the information, and then transmit the information to the necessary stakeholders, and also get the necessary reports or feedback, generate it, and send it back to the necessary stakeholders involved. All right. So communication plan is very, very important in project management. And like I will always say, Your communication plan will vary based on your project scope, cost, and the time constraint. Your project communication plan will vary. The cost of the communication plan will vary. The scope of the communication plan will vary. The schedule of communication will vary based on the cost, time, scope involved in the project, in the entire project you're doing. All right. Then you have the procurement plan. The procurement plan has to do with the purchase of resources and acquisition of human resources needed for the project. So it provides a detailed description of the products, that is goods and services, to be procured from suppliers. It provides justification for procuring each product externally and not internally from team members. Provide a schedule for procurement. Then identifies the process of selection of a preferred supplier, and also is responsible for the tender process, and identifies the process for the actual order and delivery of the procured products and procurement, and that's the procurement process. There is something I want to say specifically here. A project manager, is not compulsory that a project manager must know all the technical aspects of his project. In fact, the project manager is not responsible for project execution. The project manager is responsible, one, for initiating the project, then assembling a team, then importantly, supervising his team, monitoring and supervising his team to deliver the project. So the project manager delivers the work through his team. Now, where am I going to? If you find yourself in a project environment, you can be a project cost manager, you can be a project resource manager, you can be a project communication manager, you can be a project procurement manager, you can be a project management officer. Please, I also want us to note, project management officer is different from project manager. A project management officer is solely responsible for the administrative procedures involved in a particular project. The project manager is responsible solely for initiating, planning, and acquiring his team, then monitoring and supervising his team for the project deliverable. The project manager is not to do everything. So please, if you have that notion before, I would like us to clear that. So when you're planning your project, you're also planning for your team. Who is going to be the human resource manager for this project? Who is going to be the communication manager? Who is going to be the procurement manager? Who is going to be the community development manager, or a public relations manager, or public relations officer? You must have all inclusive in your team towards delivering the project, right? So all of those process of acquiring both human and non-human resources towards the project is what we are referring to as the procurement plan. Then in the procurement planning, we have the tendering process. What is the tendering process all about? Tender is always the major language we use in procurement, all right? So whether it is human procurement as acquisition and retention of staff or project team members, or procurement and use, procurement administration and use of non-human resources, we can use the keyword tendering process to always reflect procurement proceedings in project management environment. Okay, so what is the tendering process? The tendering process is the identification of interested suppliers and selecting a preferred supplier to meet the procurement needs. And please, I will also want us to have some clarity here. In this context of human resources in project management, the person you're recruiting into your team, in this case, is also a supplier. What is he supplying? He's supplying his knowledge, skills, abilities, competencies, experiences to the development, right from the planning through the development and to the sustenance of that project, through to the end. So you can also refer to as your project team members as suppliers. And in most cases, dependent on the volume of project or the largeness of the project you do, you have project consultants coming in different scope. You can have project consultants in evaluation, project consultants in costing. You have project consultants in communication and all of that. So If you have to deal with project consultants, being human resources also, they are also suppliers. They are supplying you all the things you need human-wise to be able to fix that project. So when we say suppliers, we are not only talking about who is supplying the non-human resources, all right? Okay, suppliers are appointed and contracted through a tender process involving creating a statement of work, request for information from each supplier, which we can also reflect as a CV, or in a default tab, what we call the tender. And the tender, if it is a larger procurement you're going to be doing, then you have to provide a tender, or what we call the, or perhaps your tender should go with the Okay, I just noticed that my network went off and came back. All right, so please, I will need you to help me. Let me be sure of where you lost me. So please, where did we miss each other? Please, you can help me in the chat room. Where did we miss each other? I trust we can all hear me right now. All right. Please, if you can hear me, just kindly help me with where we missed each other. Tendering process, okay. All right, thank you. So I was trying to explain the tendering process before the network went off and came back. In the tendering process, I said, the tendering process can be used to acquire both human and non-human resources. It mustn't just be for purchase of raw materials or purchase of non-human resources. It can be for the two, right? It can be for the two, right? Okay. Now I said the identification of interested suppliers and selecting a preferred supplier to meet the procurement needs, all right? And that also concludes the activities that need to be done, whether it is human resource acquisition and retention, or whether it is raw materials acquisition, administration, and usage, right? Suppliers are appointed and contracted through a tender or through a tender process involving first creating a statement of work, then requesting for information from each potential supplier, then choosing a preferred supplier, agreeing on a supplier contract for the delivery of the requisite products, all right? So these are all what the tendering process is all about. Then at the end of the phase, or at the end of the planning phase, you have the perform phase review. And the main products we are going to be having at the planning phase, we are going to have the project plans, and the project plans will involve the resource, financial risk communication, procurement, acceptance, and quality. Then we'll also have the suppliers, the contract suppliers. Then from there, we'll move to the execution phase. All right, I know my network had spewed like twice since I entered the planning phase, but I'll be sure, I want to be sure that we all are on the same page. So please, if you are definite to have understood everything we spoke about in the creating project plan, please, can you please kindly type in the chat room, proceed. Then if you have a question, you can just raise your hand. If you have a question, you can just raise your hand. But if you want me to proceed, like we all understood what I just explained, you can just go ahead and say proceed. If you have a question, just your hand. All right, Mr. Chukwa Goziem, your line is open. Please go ahead.
Okay, sir, please, it's not really a question, but I would appreciate if you can just run through the slides again from project planning sequence. Just run through it to the end. I will appreciate that if you can. Thank you very much.
All right, I can. So I will run it.
Okay,
All right. A share is just to run. It's not. We are not waiting. It's just to keep running, right? Okay. So I will run. Please, if you've not drawn this chart, please, I would like you to draw it. If you've not drawn this chart, I would like you to draw it, or perhaps just screenshot it, and let's proceed. I just need 1, 2, 3 persons. If you have screenshotted it, you can send it to the WhatsApp room, and others can pick from there. Please, who has screenshotted, just send it to the WhatsApp group. We will all pick from there. Who has screenshotted? Is Professor Joachim in this class today? Professor Joachim, are you in this class today? Let me see. Joa. Okay, he's here. Professor Joachim, did you screenshot?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so please help us send it to the WhatsApp group. All of us will copy from there. Thank you so much for coming. You have been so wonderful in helping us here. All right, so as recommended by Honorable Chukwa Goziem, we should run through the slides. So please, my speed might be faster as before. Okay, so the first process is create a project plan. The second process is create a resource plan, create a financial plan, create a quality plan, create a risk plan, create an acceptance plan, create a communication plan, create a procurement plan, create suppliers relationship plan, and then perform phase review. I think I've been able to run through this as recommended. All right, please, if you've not joined the WhatsApp group, oh, you said the WhatsApp is not open. Please, CRO, can you just open the WhatsApp group so that we can have information posted there? Please, if you're not in the WhatsApp group has been uploaded. So kindly click on it and please join the WhatsApp group so that we can follow also. And please, if you wish to share your notes in the WhatsApp group, please, you can go ahead so that those of us that are working can also have access to some of the notes. But we are doing some recording today, irrespective of the network, we are doing the recording. So as soon as we are done with the recording, it's going to be coming unedited. So we are posting it all together in the WhatsApp group so that those that have been joining, combining work and learning at the same time, they can have that. Okay, so I've run as fast as I can. So let me proceed. Okay, so after the planning phase, the next one we have is the execution phase, and which involves the coordinating of people and other resources to carry out the project plan, characterized by the physical construction of each deliverable by the project team and presentation to the customer for acceptance, and monitoring and control of activities, resources, and expenditure by the project manager required throughout the execution phase to ensure that the customer's requirements are met. Okay. So that is very, very important. Mr. Steven or Mrs. Steven, please kindly join the WhatsApp group. The information regarding screenshot and other information will be posted there. So the WhatsApp link is posted there again right now. So kindly join the WhatsApp group, and I'm definite that Honorable Joachim, Professor, will help us by putting that there. Okay. So what are the major activities in the project execution activities? First, you have the building of the deliverable by the team. Then you also have the phase review, which is an intermediary between building the deliverable and that of monitoring the project activities, monitoring and control the project activities. So below the project, below monitoring and control is the whole of the activities that need to be done. The whole of the activities that need to be done. And what are the activities that need to be done? We have the cost, procurement, integration, quality, and risk management activities. Then we have the schedule, scope, resource, communication, and stakeholder management activities. All of these activities need to be monitored and controlled and carefully reviewed to give us the deliverable. All right? Okay. All right. I think I saw one hand up. Engineer Feta, your hand is up. Engineer Feta, your hand is up. Please, if you really want to say something, can you unmute and then give us a voice?
Okay. Okay, yes. Please, sorry to take you back. Talking about the definition of the execution process. You know, in the course of the class, I think it should be Mr. Kingsley that drew your attention that service should be highlighted in the explanation. I observed that you defined. Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, I can hear you clearly.
Hello. Okay, fine. I observed where you said characterized by the physical construction. Did you get that?
Okay. Yes, I got that.
Hello.
Yes, I got that.
Yeah. Yeah. I just want us to look at that too. Is it not possible to put the word physical construction and implementation of, I don't know, but I think this one might be a challenge for our other colleagues that are interested in services and all of that.
Okay. Thank you very much. Actually, when I read through this, I knew that this particular question will have to come up because whenever we say construction, it's like by default, it has to do with engineering or anything related to engineering, but that's not really the case here. When we say physical construction of each deliverable, the deliverable can be a service, the deliverable can be a product. Okay, so when we say physical construction of each of the deliverable, if it is service you're giving, then you should go ahead and construct your service model. How are you going to deliver your service? Please, the word here, construct, is a generic word. It doesn't really refer to molding of blocks and laying of foundations or designing of engines and blocks, as the case may be. All right, so the word here, construction, is generic. So it's a literal English meaning that means it's characterized by developing each of the deliverable, and the deliverable can be a product and can also be a service. I hope I've been able to answer that question. All right, thank you so much for calling my attention back to that. I would have actually been surprised if my attention was not called to that word, construction. All right, so the next one there is monitoring and controlling. And what do we do in monitoring and controlling? We've actually gone so far in explaining that before, but it has to do with why the project team are physically producing each deliverable. The project manager implements a series of management processes grouped as the knowledge areas to monitor and control the activities being undertaken. They include the time management, risk management, cost management, quality management, communication management, procurement management, integration management, scope management, and what? Human resource management. Then we'll have the project objectives are met by monitoring and measuring project progress regularly to identify variances from plan so that corrective actions can be taken when necessary. Monitoring activities include integrated change control, quality control, scope change control, cost control, schedule control, performance reporting, and others. All right. As we progress, especially in the lead project management certification course, we'll have the time to go through each of these controls and then know when and how to apply each of them. Then from the project execution phase, we go down, and after monitoring and evaluation, we go down to the project closure. The main product in the project execution phase is the project deliverables. And the project deliverables can be results, services, or products. Okay, and the monitoring and control activities that will be done. All right. All right, those that are having problem joining the WhatsApp group, please, have you been able to join now? Just click on the link and make sure you are there. Please kindly join the WhatsApp group. All right, so finally we're having the project closure. It involves formalizing acceptance of the project or phase and bringing it to an orderly end. A successful project will have met its objectives and be ready for formal closure only when deliverables have all been completed and accepted by the customer, or when it is clear and established that the objectives or deliverables cannot be met. Then we can go ahead and close. So what do we have there? We have from closure, that's winding up of the project, to the final review of the project activities. So what are the activities involved in the project closure? It involves a series of activities undertaken by the project manager in assessing whether the project completion criteria has been met, identifying any outstanding items like activities, risk, issues, or resources, producing a handover plan or schedule to transfer to the customer or the stakeholder, communicating closer to all stakeholders and interested parties, listing the activities required to hand over documentation, cancel supplier contracts, and release project resources to business. Note, these activities make up the project closure report document, which is submitted to customer and or project sponsor for approval. How do we conduct the final review for project completion? Review of the overall success of the project by an independent resource auditor is very, very important. Please note, this is also dependent on the volume of work you're doing, but inevitably, we encourage project managers to always use external auditors in formalizing the closing proceedings. Okay, so even if you don't have money to pay auditors, you can use a fellow, you can use a colleague who is also an expert in the thing you're doing to help you ascertain the level of congruence between what was planned and what is on ground. And with that, you can also must have done some kind of independent auditing to your project. Success is determined by how well the project is performed against the defined objectives and conform to the management processes outlined in the planning phase. The project is closed only when all activities identified in the closure report have been completed. To determine performance, the following questions are asked to actually know whether you actually performed well or not. These questions are very important. Did it result in the benefit defined in the business case? Did it achieve the objectives outlined in the terms of reference? Did it operate within the scope of the terms of reference? Did the deliverables meet the criteria defined in the quality plan? Was it delivered within the schedule outlined in the project plan? Was it delivered within the financial plan? All of these things need to be considered in the project closure process to ascertain the level of performance. Now, the first one is to determine performance. The second one is to determine conformance. To review, a review is undertaken of the level of conformity of the project activities to the management processes outlined in the quality plan. Conformance has to do with the standard, the quality standards, whether they were actually achieved. Performance has to do with the activities that were created, whether they were done and whether they deliver the result for which they were created. All right, so let's know the difference between the two. Performance has to do with activities and the level of result that were assigned to them, whether the activities were done effectively and efficiently to deliver the result. Conformance is dealing with the product at the end of the day. Is it up to the quality that was defined in the quality plan? Note, results of the review, key achievements and lessons learned are documented in a post-implementation report and presented to the project sponsor for approval. Now, quick summary. In a quick summary, project management is all about skills, application of skills, tools, and techniques of management processes. The constraints of projects are time, scope, budget, risk, and quality. Where we have time, scope, budget, the risk and quality as inside of that triangle. Project management have 5 process groups. We have initiation, planning, execution, monitoring, and control and closure. Project management has 10 knowledge areas: time management, risk management, cost management, quality management, communication, procurement, integration, scope, human resources, and stakeholder management. A project is closed only when all the deliverables have been completed and accepted by the customer. Okay, so this is going to be a general test assessment, and please, everyone is permitted to be part of it. Everyone, we are having 52 people here, excluding myself and the CRO and Honorable Rolayo. So every other person, we should be having 48 persons. So every other person is expected to make their contributions. All right, let me check on Honorable Rolayo. Honorable Rolayo. Engineer Rolayo. I trust his network is not fluctuating. All right.
Hello.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm here.
You're welcome, sir.
Thank you. I've
Okay,
been around.
Yes. So can we have the class to attend to these questions? Please, one person should not answer all the questions. And for instance, if we're saying characteristics of project, just list one. Don't list more than one. Just list one and allow others to list others. All right. So can we have an interactive session right now? And let's see what we have.
Okay, so last question. What are the list the characteristics of a project? Who can answer, please? I want your hands in the air if you can answer. The characteristics of a project. Okay, one person has put up his hands. That is Engineer Erifeta. Sorry, Erifeta. I've unmuted you, sir, so please unmute yourself.
Hello.
Yes, please.
Yes,
Yeah, welcome.
Engineer Erifeta.
Okay, straightforward. One characteristic of a project is that a project is unique.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. No, just one is enough. Another person should take off from there.
Okay.
In fact, just be calling name. There is no need to even raise hand.
I should not be calling their names now.
Just follow the list as it's going. Just be anyone you call. Just give
okay,
us one.
But I've already unmuted Mr. Patrick. Please, one characteristic, please. Mr.
Patrick, are you there?
All right. Sir.
All right, go ahead, sir.
A project must be time bound.
All right, thank you so much.
It must be time bound.
Next person.
Okay. Okay. Next person. Someone has raised up his hand again. That is Aldad Akom.
Yes, please go ahead and unmute him.
Honorable Aldad Akom. Can you please unmute yourself?
Hello.
Yes.
Yes, I can hear you. We can hear you.
A project has temporary objectives.
Okay, a project is actually temporary, not that it has temporary objectives. Okay, so a project is temporary. Okay.
Okay.
Right. Next person.
Awusi Afam Samuel. Please,
the next thing, good day, everyone.
Yes, you're welcome, sir.
Okay, the project, you must put up, you must consider the resources required.
Okay, so we'll have resources. Thank you.
Resources, thank you. Opoko Ajewe Monica. Sorry, I hope I spelled your name well. I pronounced your name well. I've unmuted you. I should just Monica.
Hello.
Dr. Monica, good morning.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, we can hear you clearly.
Okay, a project involves an element of risk.
Okay, thank you so much. That's wonderful.
Thank you.
Next person.
Mr. Honorable Mukhtar Ojitiku, sorry. Ojutiku.
A project must be realistic and it must be unique.
That's great. A project must be realistic and must be unique. That's wonderful. Next person, Honorable Theophilus Kagberi.
Kagbari.
Okay.
Hello?
Yes, please, go ahead.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, a project cuts across lines and structures of an organization, drawing upon skills from different departments and resources of an organization towards a particular objective.
Okay, so projects are multidisciplinary. In fact, they are both
Exactly.
multi and interdisciplinary. Okay, that's wonderful. I don't know where you got that from. That's awesome. All right, next person.
The next person is Bernard. Bernard. Chiekwene.
Chiekwene Bernard.
Yeah.
Please, your line is open. Can you give us a voice?
Chiekwene Bernard. We're waiting for you, sir. Honorable Bernard. Okay, Princess. Princess.
They come now. They come.
Finally. Hello.
Yes, please go ahead.
Hello, how are you?
Okay, thank you. So a project should be temporary, unique, progressive, and it includes series of interrelated tasks that are planned for execution.
Are you summarizing the activity? Are you summarizing the
We asked for only one. We asked for only one. You gave us 5. Well,
all right, please, let's go ahead. Let's go ahead.
You actually have failed the exam.
Let's go ahead. Next person.
Kingsley Matthew. Kingsley
A
Matthew.
project must have a time scale and stakeholders.
It must have stakeholder, thank you. And a time scale, you said, yes? Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, next person, please.
Abba. Mr. Abba. Honorable Abba. Honorable Abba, we're hearing you.
A project is temporary in nature, and it typically has a defined start and a defined endpoint.
Okay, that's wonderful. Okay, so Dr. Olayo, can we go to the next question? What does project management entail? So let's start from the people that have not answered.
What does project management entail?
Question
So
number 2.
I'm going to start with Mr. Abdul Karim.
Yes.
Mr. Abdul Karim, you can unmute yourself now. What does project management entail? Okay, he's not unmuting himself. Abraham Thompson, can you help me out here? Please unmute yourself. Abraham Thompson. Mr. Manito, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you perfectly.
These people cannot hear me, or maybe they are pretending not to hear me. Okay, let's go to, Abraham Thompson.
Yes, Honorable Abraham Thompson is open.
Thank you.
Yes, please.
Okay, so what was the question again?
I was asking, what does project management entail?
Hello?
Hello, can you hear me, sir?
Project management
it was breaking.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, project management it actually entails a collection of processes that includes initiating the project, planning, putting the project plan into action, and also measuring the progress and performances.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Next person.
Does anybody else have another definition of
no, just be following. Everybody has to contribute. Next person is Abba.
No, Abba did not answer me. So Alabi. Hello, Mr. Alabi.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, the question, he said what, sir?
What does project management entail?
Okay, it entails the skills tools and management processes to undertake a required endeavor.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
Very correct. Thank you, sir. Okay, next question goes to Anthony, Honorable Anthony. Honorable Anthony. What is a project who is a project stakeholder?
Hello.
Honorable Anthony, who is a project stakeholder? Honorable Anthony. Okay, he's having issues.
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
Hello.
Yes.
Okay, let's move on. Sorry, we couldn't hear. He can't hear us. We can hear him. We're moving on. We're going over to Mr. Bernard Francis Olusegun. Mr. Bernard.
Hi.
Mr. Bernard. I think he's having network issues also. Okay, so we'll go on to somebody must answer this question. Mr. David, Mr. Okay, Chukwa Goziem. You can unmute yourself, Mr. Chukwa Goziem.
Hello. It's who project stakeholders are. Okay, project stakeholders are actually the individuals that are actively involved in the project. I mean, those individuals that can influence the results of the project. So those ones are called the project stakeholders.
Thank you. But you didn't tell. Okay, that's the next question. List the stakeholders involved in your project.
Okay. Should I list who they are?
Just give us like one, just one.
Okay. For example, the project manager is one of the project stakeholders. The customer is also a project stakeholder.
It's okay.
The project team members are also the.
I'll just minus all your marks now.
Okay.
Okay, next person that will give us the list of project team holders, Mr. David, Engineer David. Engineer David Adedeji. You can unmute yourself now.
I suspect his network is having issue.
Okay, so next person is Mr. Engineer Professor David Ajayi. Deji Ajayi.
Okay, let's just move to question number 6. Question number 6, the project knowledge areas. There are 10. So let's have 10 people to give us 10 of them. The people that have answered before shouldn't answer again. The 10 knowledge areas.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, 10 knowledge areas. I thought someone just unmuted himself now. Last person I clicked. He now muted back. Okay, so can Engineer E. Omoro answer this question, please?
No.
Yes, somebody is talking. Who is that?
I don't know. Okay, David,
all right, please.
Talking.
If you're not really giving any response, can you kindly mute your mic so that we don't get to hear the background from your end? Thank you.
Good morning. Integration management.
Okay, is that
all right? Integration management. That's great. So who is speaking?
Deji
Ajayi speaking. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Integration management one. So we need another person.
Okay. Honorable Amoru. Amoru. Okay. Honorable Emma Please, can you help us? Let us know the list of project management knowledge areas. Just one project management knowledge area.
Operation management.
Sorry, what did you say?
I said operation management, sir.
Operation management. Okay, operation management is not part of it. Next person, please.
Engineer Paul Victor, can you please unmute?
Engineer Paul Victor, give us one knowledge area in project management.
Okay, and let's move on. Eta Andu.
All right, go ahead, sir.
Okay, we have quality management.
Okay, quality management, that's awesome.
Quality management.
That's great.
Thank
next
you.
Next person.
Next person is Gabriel Ciano.
Okay. Gabriel
Ciano.
Oh.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead.
We can hear you.
Hello?
I can hear you, sir.
I can't hear you.
We can hear you, sir.
But we can hear you. You can't hear us, but we can hear you.
Okay, can we have another person?
Galaxy J5 Prime. The person didn't put his name. Galaxy J5 Prime.
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, sir. So please, could you give us
Sorry,
a
my name is Mohammed. I'll
area?
change the name.
Okay.
Yeah.
Project management knowledge area. Don't worry, that's not as important.
Cost control.
Cost management.
Cost control.
Yes, cost management. Thank you.
Cost control.
Thank you.
Cost management.
What Mr. Benito is saying is that it's not cost control, it's cost management. But your idea is appreciated. Thank you.
All right.
Mr. Henry.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you speaking. Henry.
Management.
Okay, thanks for the correction.
Sorry, what did you say?
Procurement management.
Procurement management. All right, thank you. That's awesome. Okay, Engineer Rolayo.
Somebody is putting up his hand, sir.
Okay.
Mr. Selassie Tete. Selassie Tete. I'm seeing you, sir.
Yeah, go on.
Unmute yourself, sir. Unmute, Mr.
Okay, so scope management.
Okay.
Scope management.
Thank you so much. Sorry, who is this person that is having family meeting? Okay. For the sake of time, I think we can take all the we can stop here. Although I'm seeing so many hands up now. Please let's just post our answers in the chat room. But we'll take 5 minutes break. So we are resuming by, if you're from Ghana, we are resuming by 11:05. If you're from Nigeria, we are resuming by 12:05. If you're from any other country, just calculate the difference. Our GMT is GMT +1. So you can calculate yours and know how. Okay, just add 2-3 more minutes from whatever time you are right now. And that will be when we'll be resuming. Okay, so please.
We are from China. We are resuming 6:05.
Yes, I'm actually hearing some sound that is showing that some people are still sleeping, like it's still dark in their area. Okay, so if you're from China, please. Okay. Class, we had some Chinese here. So if you're from China or you're living in China, or you're living in Netherlands, because some people registered from Netherlands, some registered from UK, some registered from US.
Netherlands is Ghanaian time.
Okay, it's almost like Ghanaian time. Okay, so please don't go anywhere. The attendance list has been passed in the chat room. So please, Ciro, put it again. Please take your attendance. The class is ending by 1 o'clock. So in the next 5 minutes, we are coming back, and then we'll take like 45 minutes for the lecture. Then we'll go on break. Then to reconvene later in the day. Please, the attendance sheet is ongoing. Please ensure to take your attendance. Ensure to take your attendance. Very important. Ensure to take your attendance, please. Ensure to take your attendance. Thank you.
I'm still on. Okay.
All right. Okay, Engineer Rolayo, are you there? Hello, Engineer Rolayo, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, so can we continue?
Hello?
Yes, can we continue?
Yes, with the questions, or okay, let's continue then. No problem, no questions. All right. Thank you for all coming, for all of you that came back. Okay, someone's hand are up in the air. Maybe he wants to ask a question.
All right. Can you unmute?
Mr. Benito, can I give it to him?
Yes, you can go ahead.
Okay, Mr. Tony, you can okay, you have the floor. Honorable Tony, your hands are in the air, you have the floor.
Oh, sorry, I was trying to answer the last question. Can you hear me?
All right.
Okay.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you, so I appreciate it. Thank you. So without any further ado, let's quickly go back to our class, hand over again to Mr. Benito to continue chapter 4, Project Integration Management. Thank you, Mr. Benito.
Okay, please, I would like to take a survey. This aspect we are going into now this is where the technical aspect of projects comes to play. So we are going to be looking at the 10 knowledge areas to the end. Okay. Now I want to say, should I continue this class? Then we'll make the classes available to people who are working that should join us in the evening. Or should we just move all the classes till in the evening? Please, I need vote. I need your vote to decide now. Nabife, you're raising your hand. So is it just let the vote be in the chat room. We're having 2 votes. Should we continue or should we postpone? So if we should continue, yes. If we should move it to in the evening, just put no. So yes, continue. No, evening. So let me see the votes, and then Honorable Rolayo, please, let's count the votes. Honorable Rolayo, are you there? This is no.
I'm here.
So it's looking like the no's have it.
Let's wait now. Yes, it's still making a strong comeback.
So let's be counting the no and yes, no and yes. Can we? And please, before you say no, please make sure you mark your attendance, please. All right, please ensure to take your attendance. The attendance list has already been passed, so yes, the CRO just posted the attendance list again. Please ensure to click on the link and take your attendance. All right, Engineer Rolayo.
So we have about 12 no's here.
Okay.
And yes, I can only count about 4 or so.
Okay. Kai, the no is winning this battle.
The no is winning massively.
Okay, so based on the workshop we've had so far that have given us a conclusion, we'll have to move this class to evening. And having noticed that some people are actually working, so instead of the 3 o'clock that we normally have, please we'll move the class to 4 o'clock so that no matter what you are doing, even if you're still in the office, you can still have time to join us. All right, okay, so no, the no's have it. So we are moving our class to 4 o'clock. We are moving our class to 4 o'clock, please. So instead of 3 o'clock, we are moving to 4 o'clock. So if you're from Ghana, the time will be 3 p.m. in your own area. And if you're in Nigeria, it will be 4 p.m. If it's any other country, please calculate from your GMT, and then let's have the time. Please, if you've not marked your attendance, can I see your hand up? If you've not marked your attendance, because we are going to divide the group before we come back in the evening so that we know where our groups belong to. Please, if you've not marked the attendance, can I see your hand up? If you've not taken the attendance, can we see your hand up? If you've not marked your attendance, can I? Okay, everyone has marked the attendance. Okay, so in case you did not meet the attendance here, please kindly go to the WhatsApp group and then we'll put up the attendance there. You can also go ahead and mark your attendance. All right, please, if you have a note you want to share with the class, please feel free, go to the WhatsApp group, share your notes the way you learned so that others can also get something from you. We are encouraging everyone to get their manuals, as this will help us in the facilitation process. If you want to get the manuals, just go to ipmi.org/store. You can either go for CAPM or you can go for the LPMP. All right, and all the dues are there. And we also noticed that some people paid or bought the manuals online, but they were unable to download. Please, the file is actually heavy, so it might not be as easy as. So if your network is not too strong, you might have some challenges. But if you have any difficulty, please chat us up. The WhatsApp group is now open. You can chat us up. Then let's resolve all those things before the evening class. All right, the evening class will resolve all those things. Is there any issue or concern before we go? I'm seeing 3 hands up. King David, do you have something to tell us? Please, you can kindly unmute so that you can give us a voice if you have something to say.
Good afternoon. No, actually, I think it's a mistake. Sorry. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Honorable Patrick.
Yes, sir.
Yes, do you have something to say? Your hand is up, sir.
No, sir.
Yes, thank you, sir. Your hand is up.
Yes, sir. This attendance list.
Yes, sir.
On the attendance, I'm seeing a first session, second session. Do we go for the board?
No, we still have another attendance in the evening. We still have another attendance in the evening.
Oh.
So for now, just mark the morning session only.
Okay, so first session.
Yes, the first session. Yep.
Thank you.
You're welcome, sir. All right, Princess, your hand is in the air. Do you have something to tell us?
Yeah, I actually want to ask a question.
Okay.
Will the recording of this class be made available to us?
Yes, as soon as we were able to get the recordings now, we'll send it to the WhatsApp group unedited. So just listen to everything, all the jokes and everything, you listen to them.
The thing is, the one for the other classes was not sent. We don't have any of.
Yes, we're having some network issues that couldn't allow us to record all the recordables. But for now, everyone will record, we'll push it to the class, we'll push it to the WhatsApp. So we download, and if you have the grace to edit, you can go ahead and edit. All right, Engineer Sharif, you're welcome back. We've not heard your voice today.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll be on and off due to the network, sir.
From on-call pickup, do you have the list? Can you give it to me? Yeah.
All right, Engineer Sharif, I guess someone was having a family meeting somewhere. Please, you can go ahead.
Yeah, I said I'll be on and off due to some reasons, network coupled with my engagements. Yeah, at work. So the thing now is, he promised to group us.
Yes.
Into categories, not group for work now, project work or group work now. I mean, into 2 divisions to know which level we are taking assessment for.
Okay,
I mean, our test and exam.
Okay.
So that because now I'm here to pay because I need to know the group I will fall into.
You will get that. You will get that. Yes, you will get that today. We'll get that in the group. So we're going to display that in the group also, so that you also know where you belong to. All right. But to make it simple, if you have a degree and with 1 year experience or less, you are going for between 1 to 3 years experience or less, you are going for CAPM, that's Certified Associate Project Manager. Now, if you have a degree and you have at least 5 years working experience, you can go for lead, or you have at least 3 years work experience in project environment or total of 5 years work experience, conclusive comprising of both project and non-project environment, you can apply for the lead. But if it is just a degree with 3 years less experience, 3 years or less experience, please, you're going for CAPM. If you have a degree, a master's, a PhD, and at least 3 years project experience or 5 years cumulative experience, both project and non-project, please, you're qualified for the lead. So, Mr. Sharif, does that make the case simple? Mr. Sharif?
I'm with you. I do. Thank you very much. And again, this is not. It shouldn't be only to project management. All about others, other courses like HSC and HRM.
It's just the same condition, sir.
All right, no problem. Thank you very much.
Welcome, sir. Okay. Is there any other question as we call it a day? Please don't forget to mark your attendance. The next class is by 4 o'clock. If your work is engaging, please, you can just find a way to exit and focus on your work so that you don't you can go ahead. Attendance link, Mr. Joseph, the attendance link. Okay, the attendance link has been shared right now. So, Mr. Joseph, the attendance link has been shared. Okay. Is there any other issue of concern? I'm seeing Zachary. Yeah. Please, your line is open, sir. You can go ahead.
Hi, sir. Good day, sir.
You're welcome,
I've been
sir.
on and off with a network problem, but eventually I wasn't able to make the last time class, and presently I have been attending the class till up to the end of it, but only that I don't know which one I should partake, because I have 3 years of experience, and right now I'm about to finish my master's degree for that, and I have a diploma in project management.
Okay. Apart from the certifications you have, how many years experience do you have in the project environment? How many years have you spent in the project environment? How many years?
Yes.
Sorry, I didn't get that.
2 years. 2 years.
You might still have to go for the CAPM.
All right, sir, but I have not been checked into the WhatsApp group yet.
Okay, just join the WhatsApp group. The link is already in the chat room. So maybe we'll send it to you personally now to just check your inbox and you will get the link there.
All right, thank you.
But make sure you sign your attendance before you go. Please, we are done with this. I'm just taking questions. So if you have something else to deal with, please, you can kindly log off and then we'll reconvene by 4 o'clock. And please also, if you try joining the class and it tells you that the class is May 23rd, like I said, the class started May 23rd, it doesn't mean it's ended. So just give it a little time and try again. Please, CRO, can you post, the WhatsApp link to Zachary? All right, please, is there any other question or issue of concern so that we can deal with that? All right, if there is no other issue of concern, then I will hand over to Engineer Rolayo to round up.
Okay, no other questions, Banito. Nobody's hands are up. No questions on the chat. So thank you all of you for tuning in. Class continues later in the evening today by 4 p.m. And that is 3 p.m. Ghanaian time, 4 p.m. Nigerian time. What else? Maybe 5 p.m. South African time. Or whatever.
If we are not sure, let's not say. The one we are not sure, let's not say.
Okay. 3 p.m. Nigerian, 4 p.m. Nigerian time, 3 p.m. Ghanaian time. So anyone that's, please, if you need to calculate, please calculate it wherever you are. You can connect. Thank you very much. Please take advantage of the WhatsApp group for any other question you have, and we'll try and answer you as soon as possible.
All right. Thank you so much. And let's meet in the evening. Enjoy a wonderful time.
estimate